Okay. Hey. So this video is to those of you who have pushed me to make this video because you're telling me I should, give you a background of where I am at, how I got to where I am today. And I thought, well, it's Mental Health Week, so what better week to do it? So I went on to the mental health awareness page on Twitter and just write up a bit of a blog post and give my credit and my donation, or whatever you want to call it, to Mental Health Awareness Week. And a lot of the topic on mental health is body image, which, ding ding ding, if you don't know me, I have really struggled with in the past. Not just from my eating disorder that I had, but now when I look back, I've had quite a difficult, growing up, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, of body image, of, self-hating, everything, self-hating, self-destructing, from a very young age, actually, that I didn't realize until now, when I'm feeling stronger to really dive deep into my emotion and dive deep into where I actually am and the thoughts and the thought patterns and kind of linking them all together. Now, I'm not saying, get your journal out and go deep back into your childhood. If it's something you don't want to do, then you don't have to do it. But it did come up for me when I was kind of thinking back and when I was, reminiscing, especially looking at old pictures. So this is kind of what sparked me to make this video as well. Was I seen a picture of me as a child, and I was out running in Glendalough, where I used to love going. And if you don't know me, if you're completely new to me, when I was younger I used to run for Laois and for Leinster and all that. So I was a really good runner. Anyway, so losing my train of thought now, thinking back to when I was running. So I've seen those pictures and I was a really skinny child, like really skinny. Everyone used to say that I'd be lanky or whatever it was, and that didn't really get to me. I didn't really care. But for me as a person, I guess from a young age I actually struggled with body dysmorphia because I wasn't seeing what the other person was seeing. So I had friends and they were a lot thinner than me and they were smaller. So I always wanted to be thinner and smaller, but fair enough, my mum and that, they would always rephrase it back to, you're taller, you've got a different build, which is completely true. I am taller, I was built differently. They were smaller, they're built differently, everybody's built differently. But I guess I didn't see that, so it was hard for me as a child to even realize that. But anyway, so I wasn't ever a chubby child, which that's fine. It didn't have any real effect on me. Then I ended up being really sick with my kidneys when I was in about second class on my communion. So I was up and down to hospital a lot, and they kind of pointed out to me, the doctors did, that she's very thin as a child. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, I'm thin as a child, which wasn't really anything because there's a lot of children out there that are, thin. I was naturally thin. Anyway, so I was used to that. I was used to my body type. I was used to everything. Then a lot of tests started happening and I kind of started gaining a little bit more weight because, they were fixing my kidneys, so everything was working again. And then it was kind of creeping into the years of puberty, and I was getting older, and my body was changing. And I didn't really know how to react to that. So in my head, already as a child, my friends were a lot thinner, and I wasn't as thin as them. You know, they were wearing smaller clothes, and I wasn't wearing whatever. Anyway, then all of a sudden I was wearing bigger clothes than them through my teenage years, and in my head that really did affect me. Now I'm saying it, I didn't realise it back then, but it really did affect me. I remember getting my confirmation dress, and you know, it was a bigger size than what my best friends at the time would have been wearing. They were getting, you know, they were getting boobs, and I was still staying flat chested, which I'm still am today. I don't care though. Embrace the 12-year-old boy chest that I got going on. But yeah, so that really affected me. And I started really hating my body from a very young age. From probably about fifth class, sixth class, I remember always seeing, like, you know, my parents going out running and stuff, and at this time I'd stopped running. So I was kind of affected that way, but I didn't want to run because stuff had happened like before that it just put me off running, and that doesn't matter anymore. But I remember actually being in sixth class, and it was when I bought the confirmation dress, and I hated it. Like, I hated that I was a bigger size than my friends were, and this was happening, and my body was changing, and my legs were getting bigger, and I was getting hips, and I was becoming a woman. And all of this was like mind blowing, and I was like, oh my god, like, what is going on? So anyway, I remember standing in the mirror saying to my mom, my thighs are so big, like they're touching, because I'd heard you should have a thigh gap. So I started hating my body. And then I got lovely messages off of a girl that was in my class who had called me fat, who had told me to get a toothbrush and stick it down my throat, that I was so fat. And like, that hurt me. And still to this day, I'm even talking about it now, those words stick in my head, because people can be so horrible. Like, girls can be so horrible to each other, and that really got to me. So anyway, my mum, you know, she took care of that. She kind of told off the girl, but that didn't matter. It still stuck in my head. It was mentally stuck in my head. Still to this day, it is stuck in the back of my head. So I started really hating myself going into first year. I hated how I looked in my uniform. I hated how my legs touched. I hated everything. I hated everything. I didn't want to go swimming with my friends. I didn't want to see myself in the mirror. I didn't want to even look at myself in a picture. Which brings me back to the picture again, that in sixth class we went to America, and I ate a lot of food in America. I think you always eat a lot of food when you're in America. But I remember seeing those pictures, and oh my god, I just hated myself in the pictures. So yeah, so that also kicked off my whole negative outlook on my body. So I started self-hating, self-destructing. I started going for walks a lot, which isn't bad. I was just getting fit. But then that wasn't enough. That girl who called me fat was still constantly at me, and still body hating on me. So I continued to self-destruct. I actually never forget, thinking back now. I remember I was friends with two other girls at the time, and you know, we were trying to become this, I don't know, whatever the look was of a model back then. You had to have thigh gap, you had to be skinny, you had to whatever. So we actually went on a Weetabix diet. My God, when I think of it now, like a Weetabix diet. So the Weetabix diet consisted of 1 Weetabix in the morning, an apple at lunchtime, and 2 Weetabix in the evening. So that's what that was. That was in about, I can't remember, 2nd or 3rd year. And with that, I then began to really self-destruct by lying to my parents, sneaking out, doing whatever you think I could do. So yeah, that was mad. I was in trouble quite a lot. Obviously, I didn't care. I hated myself. I wanted to self-destruct as much as I possibly could, and that didn't go down too well at home, as you can imagine. Anyway, moving on. I got out of that stage of my life and I was kind of happy. And then in 6th year, I started drinking a lot. I would be going out with people that I probably should not have been associating myself with. Not that there was anything, they were just older than me and I just shouldn't have been out with older people. So I started drinking a lot. And I then pushed myself away from people because I just didn't feel happy in being me. So why should anybody else be happy being around me? But I was still being bullied by that same girl from 6th class. She was still body hating and she was still being horrible. And I just felt very lonely in school. So I didn't talk to anybody in school. I had one friend. I had friends, but I had one really, really, really good friend who I would talk to every day, but he wasn't in the school. So I felt like I didn't actually need anybody in the school. I had him, I could talk to him, I could ring him, it was great. And I did. So he ended up being, we actually ended up going out in 6th year, and that's when my life got really good again. I wasn't drinking for the sake of drinking. We would go out on nights out and I would really, really enjoy nights out. And just to point out that he wasn't just the only friend. I had a really, really good friend, like a best friend who I've had since I was a child. And she was always still there. But just that he kind of fits more into where I'm going with the whole story. So, yeah. He kind of saved me in a sense. I didn't feel lonely anymore and I didn't care about being in school and being on my own because I knew I had good things to come home to, and I did. So I done my Leaving Cert and I went to Italy for 4 months, 3-4 months. In that time, me and him still stayed together and I was severely homesick, but we stayed together. And I guess when I was away, I was living in a bikini. I still wasn't, my 100% self. I still had a lot of things going on in my head that I still don't know what they are, and I don't care because I'm in a healthier mind frame now, and if those thoughts arise, I will acknowledge, I'll know them. But right now, I don't need to focus on what's in the past, I just focus on right now. So, anyway, when I was in Italy, I left healthy, I left happy, and I was coming home in 3 to 4 months. While I was there, I guess I could control my eating disorder, distress, whatever you want to call it, that I didn't know about. So this best friend that was in my head was telling me, such thing. Still to this day, actually, people think that I didn't eat when I was in Italy, because this is when I came home and my eating disorder had sparked. It actually is not true. So I did still eat everything, but I was very controlling with what I ate. I didn't eat bread. I knew that had this negative thing linked to it, and I was like, nah, sorry, I'm not eating bread. I have I'm gluten intolerant, whatever. So yeah, I cut that out. Anyway, skipping on, I got really bad when I was in Italy. So it came to 3 to 4 months later, and I was getting collected by my dad at the airport. And I'll never forget, even thinking of it now, I get really upset about it. I remember walking through the arrivals part in Dublin Airport, and I remember his face just dropped. And he hugged me. He like took me into his arms, and I remember him just holding me so tight and feeling that he could feel, you know, my backbones coming out and my shoulder blades. And I'll never forget that moment. That was, you know, I shrugged it off. I pretended nothing it was wrong and whatever, but I'll never forget that moment. So I came home and I couldn't wait to get, you know, my mum's banana bread. And when I came home and I cut a slice and I took a bite, I couldn't eat it. And I was just like, oh, I'm tired. Like, and you know, it's been a long day, long flight, airport, whatever. So I didn't eat it. And then the next day came about, and I was going to see my boyfriend, who was the same guy. Came to surprise me, didn't know I was home. And we were going on holidays then a couple of days later, and I remember going into my mum before he came up to the house, and I cried and I cried and I cried, and I said, you know, I don't want to go to Spain because I didn't feel like me. But we went. She said, it's fine, like, you know, we'll go, everything's gonna be fine, you're gonna feel better when you're in Italy. I was having these really weird pains in my stomach and stuff, and she said, you're gonna be fine when we get to Spain, and we're gonna get back on track, and everything's gonna be fine. So I went to Spain, and everything was, you know, was cool. The place was gorgeous. I was with everyone that I loved, my parents, my boyfriend, my sister, everyone. And I still didn't feel right. And it's because I couldn't control what I've been controlling in Italy. So all of a sudden I had somebody saying, you need to eat this, or here's food, let's go for food, let's do this, let's do that. And I couldn't have my own little thought and my own say on things. So it was crazy. Anyway, I got really, really bad. After we came back from Spain, we realised that there was something more serious going on, and I still didn't believe in it myself. I thought, nope, I just have something going on in my stomach. I have pains in my stomach. I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't have anorexia. I don't have an eating disorder. I just lost a load of weight. There's something else going on. So I was like, test me for like Crohn's, test me for this. I don't have an eating disorder. And then for my birthday, my 18th birthday, me and my boyfriend went for dinner, and you know, I got normal food, whatever. We went to actually a restaurant I always wanted to try. So I sat down and I cut into the chicken, and I just looked at him and I was like, I'm so scared. And he didn't know what I was on about. He was like, why are you so scared? And it was the first time I admitted that I was terrified to gain weight. I was terrified of my body changing once again, which I was. You know, in clinics it became so focused that you had to gain weight, you had to be up a certain kilo, you had to be this. When it was like fucking mentally draining me. Like, oh my god, I'm terrified to gain weight, I'm terrified to eat food. Why are you throwing me like weighing scales telling me I should be gaining this much, I should be gaining this much? It was mind-blowing. Anyway, fucking crazy time in my life. Excuse the language. From there on, I kind of said, I was like, right, listen, I need to get myself in order. And I broke up with my boyfriend. I used the excuse that I need to focus on myself. Wrong. Lies. That little voice inside my head, once again, was still controlling me. I did not want to focus on myself. I wanted to self-destruct more and more and more and more. The only reason I got that thought in my head was the therapist at the time had told me, you know, he doesn't love you, he can't love you because you can't love yourself, or he can never love a bag of bones. I'll never forget that one either. What a bitch, I know. Anyway, so I broke up with him, and everybody thought, right, she's focusing on herself, she's after doing this is when time's going to get better. Once again, times did not get better. I just self-destructed even more. I think I dropped to about 5 stone something, I think was my lowest weight. 5'11" or something, I think, I'm not really sure. But I was not even able to walk up the stairs. I actually never forget, I got up one day out of bed, collapsed, got back up, pretending nothing happened, went about my day. I used to wait until my parents left and I'd go for a walk really quick, and then I would be in my pajamas. Sorry, Ma, Dad, if you're watching this and you didn't know that, that's the truth. I used to put weights on me as I weighed myself, so they would think that I was gaining weight. Crazy. Anyway, they were the most horrible times of my life. And they are from about 17 to 20. They are the years that I will never, ever get back again. And I missed out on everything. I missed out on college years, I missed out on partying, I missed out on friends' 18s, I missed out on everything. And I'll never get them back. So, yeah. Anyway, when I was 19, I think it was 19, I asked my mum, could I go to a yoga class? And this is where the love of yoga came in. So she was like, no, you can't do any exercise, you know you can't. And I was like, no, like, I want to do yoga, like, this is going to help me. So I went to yoga. I actually went to Linda Champ, the first yoga teacher I ever went to. And I came out, I went with my auntie, and I came out and I hated it. Oh my God, I hated it. And I remember the next week going, and my mum was like, why are you going if you didn't like it? And I was like, I'll just go. I'll just go to it. I was actually going because there was something inside me sparking, and it's the only emotion I had felt in a long, long time. So I went, and 4 or 5 years on now, I am a yoga teacher, and I'm still preaching to people, go to yoga if you have any way, stress, self-anxiety, anything, go to yoga. Yoga fixes everything. But anyway, so yeah, I went, I kept going to classes, and then I went to another teacher, and I said, listen, I actually think I can help people doing this, because yoga had healed me. It had healed me, with the help of my parents, obviously. But so I went off and I done my teacher training, and this is where I am today. I hear of a lot of people who relapse and go straight back into an eating disorder. Probably 99.1% of people do have a relapse and go back into an eating disorder. I luckily didn't, and I think it's because I have yoga. And I really, really do think that. I'm not saying my mental health is completely healed, because it's not. It's really far from it. I still every day tell myself it's okay to feel sometimes not right. Or like, there will be somebody ask me during the week, do you ever sit down at a meal and think like, oh God, there's a lot on that plate, like it's okay to eat it. Yeah, I do. That's part of who I am now. That's part of my life journey, and I don't regret it, because I don't think I would be a yoga teacher today if I didn't go through what I did go through. Do I wish that it didn't happen? Yeah. But it made me stronger as a person. But all I have to say is, I'm not saying come to yoga, it's going to fix everything. It does help fix everything, but that's not the main purpose of this post. The main purpose of this post is, that's my journey. I have lost a lot of people along the way. I have self-destructed so much, and I don't know, just be careful with words that you're saying to other people. That girl who bullied me in 6th class bullied me when I was at the peak of my eating disorder. She sent me a Monster High mummy doll. If you don't know what that is, it's a skeleton doll. She had all the clothes taken off it, and she, you know, had labelled it, ha ha ha, look, it's you. Yeah, that hurt me. That cut me. So I sent back a really, really outlining message of what I was going through in life, and this, that and the other. And anyway, turns out then, I'm not even getting into it, but more stuff happened, and she was still at me, and still to this day I would still get a horrible feeling even if I seen her. But anyway, that's sort of my story. I kind of rambled a bit because I've never done one of these videos before, but that's where I'm at. That's my you know, I don't know, journey to where I am today. Another thing is, somebody had actually said to me a couple of weeks back, you know, oh, you're always in the gym a lot. Be careful, you know. Just because, this is another thing, just because somebody may be really skinny, they might be healthy. If somebody's big, they still might be healthy. If somebody goes to the gym, it doesn't mean they're self-destructing. If, you know, you need to be careful what you're saying to people. Weight is not health. No. Anybody that says if you lose weight, you're going to have a life, you're going to be so happy. No. No, 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 no. You will not be happy. If you lose a load of weight and you're really skinny and it's self-destructive, you will not be happy. I still suffer from my depression from that moment of not being happy. If you lose weight in a healthy manner and you feel good and you are healthy, that's when you're happy. That's when you're, you know, you feel good. Feel good, not feeling good. Destructive, healthy. Lifestyle, self-destructive. Gone, done. There's a difference. And you do really need to be careful with what you're doing. So there's so many of these diet fads out there now that's, you know, that's brainwashing young people. Not even young people, but adults too, you know. This skinny coffee, or like, I don't know, anything. Like skinny coffee, skinny teas, tea toxin, which I'm hands up, I've done them. I have taken those teas that make you sit on a toilet thinking that, you know, I'm going to be skinnier after this. I've done it. They're like, you know, they'll destroy your bowel. Destroy you, which I'm suffering from. I have IBS now, and it's all to do with my self-destructing. You know, you really, really need to be careful. And it was actually only I had gotten kind of healthy enough, and somebody had offered me something, you know, a dietary, nutritional, whatever. I'm not even going to say the brand, who the people were, what anything was, but people have been, sending, even now, people sending things on Facebook and saying, you should take these and help you lose weight, feel good and everything. Like, you really need to be careful, because if you send that to somebody who may be big and has a really, really bad relationship with their body, can make them overeat, emotionally eat, self-destruct. Skinny person who, again, bad body image, self-destruct. They hate themselves even more. Oh, why? I have to gain weight? Like, I already know I'm skinny, blah, 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 blah. Or it can be like, oh, I'm not skinny enough. Be careful. Just so be careful. It's such a mad thing. But anyway, if you find this interesting and you do want me to follow on, leave a comment below, message me, direct message me, whatever it is, and I might make another one of these, because I didn't go through everything. And that's only one part of my mental health awareness, because there's so much more: anxiety, nervous, stress, everything. But anyway, that's me for now. Now I gotta go make some food. So have a good evening.